Hello, everybody, and welcome. Courtesy of Mike's Beer Bar, it is Madden and Benz, Unfiltered. Tim Benz and Mark Madden with you. Check out Mike's Beer Bar on the North Shore tonight for Flight Night for Monday Night Football. It is the Cowboys and the Raiders, so you're probably need a bunch of beers to get through that game if you're watching Monday Night Football. You might need quite a few next week, too, based on the Steelers' history in Chicago, but at least they're going in with a victory after beating the Cincinnati Bengals. Now the big question is, Mark, who will be playing quarterback for the Steelers when they take on the Bears? Reports from Adam Schefter and from Ian Rappaport suggest that there's some sort of small fracture in the wrist of Aaron Rodgers, his non-throwing wrist. I think Rappaport said it's 50-50 that he plays against the Bears. I don't know about you, but road game NFC team at this point, I don't know if I go 50-50 with a banged-up quarterback as opposed to a healthy Mason Rudolph who didn't seem to slip at all once he got in there yesterday against the Bengals. If it really is 50-50, I'd go with 100% of Mason Rudolph. How about you?
I'd definitely go with Rudolph if Rodgers has a broken bone in his wrist. I don't see the upside to putting him out there and taking a risk that could be exacerbated, albeit not his throwing hand. But I thought Rudolph actually outplayed Rodgers by a slight margin after entering the game against Cincinnati. And one thing to note, Rodgers under pressure has been real antsy lately. I kind of think he knows the Steelers aren't as good as he bargained for, and he's getting rid of the ball and not getting hit as a business decision, like they say. Rudolph was better in the pocket. He stepped up. He stood tall. He's a big guy, a strong guy, and he wasn't afraid to take a hit. So I had no problem with the way Rudolph played. And while the job should be Rodgers's, the minute he's better than, let's say, 50-50, the minute there's no risk to that wrist, then you put him back in there. But I would start Rudolph at Chicago. And, Tim, let's get ahead of the clamor, as I wrote in my Trib column that'll be posted momentarily. They shouldn't start Will Rodgers. Will Rodgers. He never met a start.
No, they should start Will Rodgers.
They absolutely start Will Howard, Tim. They don't need to give the kid a chance. Cleveland gave the kid a chance, and look what happened.
Yeah, that was ugly. We're going to get to that in a second because we really didn't have time in the podcast to talk about the Browns-Ravens game. We're still finishing up while you and I are taping. Another point I wanted to make, though, about sticking with the backup quarterback plan is currently on the depth chart, which means sticking with Mason Rudolph and not going to Will Howard after Aaron Rodgers' injury is, even if it's not his throwing hand, even if it's his non-throwing wrist, then what are you going to do as far as the snap goes? You're going to put him under center? That might not feel so good being under center. You might have to go shotgun the whole time, and that limits what he does. That limits some of the play action game and some of the other things they want to do. So it's just another reason to go to Mason Rudolph.
And I said when they signed Rodgers that him missing a game or two now and again because he's banged up might be a good thing for him to kind of get rejuvenated, get that body feeling a bit better as the season grows old. So when you stir that into this mix, Tim, I think starting Rudolph is just an easy decision. By the way, with Will Howard, I mean, even if you buy into the notion that he might be a good NFL quarterback someday, which I don't, he's a sixth-round pick, and he's not Tom Brady. He's only been practicing for 3 weeks and didn't take any snaps in the exhibition season. Whatever being up to speed means for a rookie sixth-round pick who's not that highly regarded, he ain't that. He's not ready to play.
I wish they had taken him in the 5th round so we could stop with all the Brady analogies and I could just make Omar Jacobs analogies. But like the fact that he is a 6th-round pick and he went to Ohio State and Brady went to Michigan, like everybody's harping on that. I'm not condemning Will Howard. I think he might be a decent quarterback someday, but for now, I'm more of your school of thought, which is he was picked in the 6th round for a reason. He's likely a career backup. I'm going to have to be coaxed into believing it by seeing it, and I shouldn't have to see it until I have to. I would have to see it if everybody else gets hurt. That's the logical plan.
Tim, I don't think he'll ever be a good pro quarterback. He's skittish under fire. His accuracy comes and goes. And people say, oh, he completed 70-some-odd% of his passes at Ohio State. Yeah, with all the best players in the country playing on the offensive side of the ball, especially the offensive line, which limited the pressure. that Ohio State offensive line then might be better than the Steelers' offensive line right now.
To your point about Aaron Rodgers and being skittish in the pocket because of the pressure that he's seeing from the Steelers' offensive line, that sort of goes hand in glove with what you just referenced. But, I was kind of noticing it yesterday when that flag-happy crew was throwing penalty markers every time a quarterback got breathed on. There was almost this realization in Rodgers' face that you could see, like, okay, they are flagging roughing the quarterback, but I still got roughed. Like, it's too late now. I got hit, and that did manifest in his hand getting broken.
Oh, Tim, I really do believe that he knows the Steelers aren't as good as he hoped they would be, and that he is making business decisions. That there's very little doubt about that in my mind. As far as the roughing the passer calls go, I don't like the rule. Within the context of the rule, all three of those calls were proper, but I don't like the rule. The rule protects quarterbacks too much. Then again, quarterbacks are the stars of the league. I don't like it, but I can't fault it.
Yeah, the Watt one, I know what they think they saw. I know what they felt like they saw, and it did appear that way, but you have to take into consideration how Watt got under his arm in the first place. Flacco was following through on a pass. There was no way that Watt then could adjust how he was taking him to the ground because Flacco was already basically off his balance since he was throwing the ball and Watt got under his armpit. Like, what was he supposed to do in that scenario?
Well, yeah, but again, within the context of the rule, I have no problem with the calls. That is roughing the passer under the rules of today, whether it was Watt's fault or intent or not.
What do you think about the 2 OPIs on Metcalf?
Well, here's the thing about Metcalf. He's a victim of doing that all the time. He commits borderline OPI all the time, so after a while, they're looking to call it.
Yeah, I thought when he extended his arms and the big hit from Rudolph that got taken off the board, yeah, he extended his arms, similar to what I just said about Watt and the roughing the passer. I know what it looked like and why they thought they saw it, but there was so little contact there. He just locked his arms out, so it looked like he was shoving them off real hard. He didn't. But I think that might be along the lines of what you're saying. He's got a reputation for it, and that was an easy time to call it. The pick route, the rub route underneath, that was sort of like boxing out in basketball was a screen. If he puts his hands down by his groin, it's a screen in basketball. That happens all the time.
No, the pick was definitely OPI, no question.
The pick was a little bit more. I didn't have a problem with that one. I just kind of rolled my eyes at it because it happens all the time. But that one felt like it was more within the context of what they were looking for than what they thought they saw on the deep pass from Rudolph.
Tim, where I give DK Metcalf credit is, whether it's drop balls or OPI or low yardage totals, he never fails to find a new way to disappoint me.
We didn't have any drops yesterday. And actually, I thought it was interesting. Once Rudolph got in there, I don't know how they were doing it. I was just kind of watching it live in the moment, but they seem to do a nice job of running off the Bengals defense and just running little hook routes, drag routes, curl routes underneath for Washington and Metcalf, big targets in open space, and that allowed for easy throws from Rudolph to keep the offense moving.
Yeah, I thought the offense was great. Not great, but, I still don't think they're fully utilizing the weaponry they have. Like
they aren't Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. I know that.
Yeah, exactly. And they're enamored with Washington because of the yards after catch, the way he rumbles, stumbles, bumbles, and just uses that bulk. And I get it. And the offense scored some points. I still don't like it. I still don't think the Steelers are very good in a nutshell. Cincinnati stinks, and the Steelers took advantage of it this time. I was impressed with the way the D shut down Chase. And we're going to get to the Ramsey Chase thing. There's no heroes in that one. Nobody has a lick of sense in that one.
You don't think that Ramsey should have gone as nuclear as he did, even though he was spit on, because he's got to have his head about him and stay in the game, is your point. Like, Dak didn't get thrown out when Jalen Carter spit on him during a timeout in the first play of the game, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I think that Ramsey was a selfish tool by getting thrown out. You got to win the game. Complete winning the game. That's the best revenge. I also don't get this macho posturing that being spit upon is the worst thing that can happen to a guy. It's not battery acid. It's saliva. It's not that big a deal. In the right context, the woman doing it is pretty attractive. So I just don't get it. I don't get why people flip out over it. it wouldn't bug me that much.
Well, I know why it bugs them, but still, they just can't blow their lid and get thrown out when, the secondary is banged up as it is, and Brandon Echols is taking himself off the field every other play. Like, they were hurt, and they got hurt more in game. And here's how you avoid being spit on. Walk away from the verbal confrontation. Don't go face mask to face mask when you're within spitting distance, Jerry. You got to walk away from the confrontation. That's the bigger thing. He's talking about how much he loves trash talk, and that's a great element of the game. Don't let it be an element of the game then. It's not so much the spitting and how you react to the spitting as you just kept the fight going.
It's just dumb. Ramsey was wrong to do it. Chase obviously shouldn't have done it, but they're both idiots. Ramsey was ahead. He should have been the bigger man and just won the game, which he did anyway. But I was shocked that, like, Joey Porter Jr. after the game said, yeah, he did the right thing. Any one of us would have done it. Well, then you're all idiots. And the fact that Ramsey did it shows that he's not the leader he thinks he is, and that team doesn't have the leadership in general it's long pretended it has.
Well, I'm not certain about this, but I think this is what happened. They got the flags, each of them, for the initial fracas, and they both got announced within the stadium. This is their first warning towards an ejection. And then they kept talking, and the one ref that could have seen the spit happen was writing down on his card, as you're supposed to do as an official, when a player gets one of those violations, you're supposed to write it down to remind yourself and remind your crew members. So the ref is looking down and writing it down, and that's the exact moment when Chase spit in his face, and then the ref from all the way over there was the one that saw it and just flagged it and tried to break it up again. So, they were on the verge of being thrown out as it is. Don't come face to face and get yourself in that situation. If Chase wants to trash talk from distance, let him do it. He's only got 3 catches for 30 yards. Point at the scoreboard.
You see, I just don't think that spitting on somebody is cause for all that ruckus. It's detestable, but, I don't see where these spermicidal maniacs just thinking some challenge to manhood. I don't get it.
You brought it up before. We got to get some Penguins talk and some other things as well, so I want to get to it now. Shedeur Sanders, his debut, a bust for the Browns. Everything's a bust for the Browns. Steelers get no help from the Browns. It looked like they were going to. Myles Garrett, 4 sacks. I bet he wasn't even double-teamed or chipped once, Mark. He had 4 sacks along the way for Cleveland. That was a highlight for him, but they lost. And they lost to Baltimore. Henry had a big run late. Ravens still within a game of the Steelers. I got to look who they're playing next, but I know the Steelers go on the road to play at a place where they've won 1 time since 1936. So we'll see what it looks like after this week.
December 7th at Baltimore, Tim. It's a day that will live in infamy.
I've heard that, yes.
I watched the second half of Browns and Ravens. It's one of those deals where people say that the Ravens could have lost. Yeah, but they should have won, and they did. A close win against a bad team is still a win. They've won 4 in a row. They're within a game of the Steelers.
Oh, they got the Jets.
The Steelers seems inevitable.
Yeah,
I love the fake tush push. Mark Andrews kind of the end around on the tush push to win the game. That was just classic. And Shedeur Sanders is awful. I mean, we were told he's ready, then he plummeted in the draft unjustifiably, and he got his shot and he sucked. He looked 1,000% lost out there.
Mark, one thing we need to jump to before we get to hockey and away from football. I was thinking about this after we hung up the phone last night. If Pat Narduzzi was trying to alleviate pressure on his team by saying what he said in advance of the Notre Dame game and talking about how the Georgia Tech and Miami games are the ones that really count, doesn't he know by then he's adding even more pressure onto those games starting this week? Did he not see the other side of the coin coming to this explanation?
Well, Tim, one thing really hinders Narduzzi. He's a moron. I mean, I don't know. What he did with that comment where he said the Notre Dame game didn't matter, I don't know what kind of mind game he was trying to play with his players. Because, frankly, I don't think Narduzzi has an IQ high enough to try to play mind games with anyone, except maybe some Barstool guy like Jersey Jerry. How about Jack Hughes got hurt at a dinner with the Barstool guy, the Devil's center, some kind of hot. I mean, those Barstool guys, why would you get near any of them?
Oh, I didn't know that's how. I knew he cut his hand. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. I didn't realize that. What were they doing? Screwing around with knives at a steakhouse?
I don't know, but it just stinks of something of that ilk. What the guy's name? Frank the Tank? Yeah, what a great crew of sports journalists they've assembled there. But the Narduzzi thing, it was a big occasion. That remark he made about the game not mattering cheated the fans. At least steered them in momentarily a kind of crappy direction regarding that game. I mean, Aaron Donald having his number retired. Tony Dorsett's there, and Tony's had some problems with CTE and doesn't get out a lot. His presence, I mean, my God, how great was that? And Narduzzi tried to steer it in a different direction, and that shows being absolutely tone deaf, not reading the room. It was a disservice to the game, a disservice to Dorsett and Donald, a disservice to Pitt fans.
Yeah, he not only lost a game, he lost face. Not just because of that, but then, Freeman basically disses him on the handshake as Narduzzi has done to so many other coaches in his time there. It was such a bad look for Pitt all around. And was supposed to be a really good day for the program. And now they better win these next two to make it all worthwhile. And I don't think they will.
Well, you know what Mr. Miyagi said about saving face, Tim? He said, "Is okay lose opponent. Must not lose fear. Must not give up 2 touchdowns in 10 seconds."
Penguins. We've got to get the Penguins. Sergei Mershirov gets himself a shutout in Sweden. Penguins get 3 of 4 in Sweden. You said it. I agree with you. They should have had 4. They were winning that first game for 58 minutes or something like that, whatever it was. And then they gave up a goal late in regulation. They gave up a goal.
On a terrible face-off play in their own end. Where
what happened? Didn't Sid win the face-off?
Jersey made the wrong read.
Yeah, exactly. And then they gave up a goal right away in overtime to give away the other point to Nashville, who stinks. Real bad. They stink real bad. But
like I said on the podcast, Tim, where the Penguins, smartened up between Friday and Sunday, they got the puck in deep against Nashville and just let the Predators suck, as they are wont to do. And they got ahead 3-0. Went to their circus act a little bit in the second period with, drop passes in the neutral zone, but mostly played a smart game. And Morozov got a shutout for his first NHL win, but only had to make 21 saves. And while he looked good, I don't think he had to work that hard.
Let's get to the comments. And Chris, if you're listening behind the board there, I want to go to the last comment first from John. Since he brought up something, we didn't talk about this in the podcast, Mark. I wasn't sure if we had time for it today, but I might as well bring it up since he asked it. Congrats to Skenes. I mean, the first bucket to win a Cy Young in 35 years, but sadly, I do think he wants to become a Yankee. What'd you think of all that dust up about that report coming from the New York Post about this alleged teammate of Skenes saying that Skenes has been talking about wanting to become a Yankee?
Well, I'm sure that happened. I mean, the New York Post isn't beyond making things up. And I do think it's oddly specific that he said the Yankees as opposed to, getting out of Pittsburgh and going to a winner. But,
it was also within what feels like the truthful context of the reporter asking the Yankee about the Angels because I heard he grew up an Angels fan his whole life. Does he want to go there? And he goes, no,
not to the Angels. He doesn't.
Yeah, right.
And with the Dodgers, he could never be the biggest star.
Not only that, but I mean, maybe he didn't like the Dodgers growing up and doesn't want to go there,
Well, the thing.
The Ryan Malone thing. I don't want to go to the Flyers.
God bless him for that. The thing with Skenes, I mean, here's where the local media, all being Pirate fans, didn't help us get to the bottom of this. Because the Athletic headline, for example, said, Skenes denies Yankee report. No, he didn't. He never said he didn't say it. Never said he didn't want to play for the Yankees. He said, I'm a Pirate. I want to win in Pittsburgh. That's not a denial. And I found his choice of words in that context interesting.
Yeah, he could have said 35 years later what Barry Bonds was probably thinking. He was a Pirate and he wanted to win in Pittsburgh. He just didn't.
I got to say, Tim, that the
local coverage
of the Pirates absolutely sucks. It's embarrassing and it's damaging because they're all fans. They're all Pirate fans. And that allows Nutting to keep getting away with it. When everything they do is cause for some kind of manufactured optimism, like I saw Pirates turn corner with new coaching hires. No, they didn't. How in the frig is that even possible with a third base coach and a bench coach? But they got fans covering the team.
Mark, the third base coach's job is to tell somebody to turn a corner. That's a very little. That was a very oddly specific headline then, if that's what you saw. Turn corner. Yeah, he better. If he's telling him to not turn a corner, he's a bad third base coach.
Right. He's going to run right into the third base stands.
He's going to run up section 117 and back out to the north side.
By the way, Tim, when I talked about that on Twitter, how all the people who cover the Pirates are fans, somebody said, "Well, you're a Penguin fan." I go, "Yeah." I go. Remind me to show you an angry text I got from Mario one time when he was owner about something I wrote in the trip. It was like, remember at the end of the 1 year, Rutherford's first year, where they only had they could only suit up 17 skaters because of cap problems.
Yes, yeah.
And they barely made the playoffs. And I said the Penguins didn't have a plan. Mario, yeah, he thought they had a plan and let me know about it.
Should you save that text?
It's somewhere. I mean, and Mario, he's my guy. We've always, had a good relationship. But, I cover the team like I cover every team.
All right, this one is from Gianni, speaking of the Pens. He says, Sergey needs...
Tim, one last interjection.
Yeah.
I'm actually harder on the Penguins because they are my team. I wish the Pirate fans who cover the team would take that stance.
It's part of the reason why I'm as hard on the Steelers as I am, too. I want to see them get a playoff win for the first time.
Yeah, I just don't like them.
Gianni says Sergey needs to stay up, but unfortunately he's going to be sent down when Jari comes back, but he's definitely the future of the Penguins. He wasn't particularly tested all that much in that shutout against Nashville. I think both teams were kind of done with being in Sweden, especially by the time that third period rolled around. You listen to Colby Armstrong call that game on the radio. He made it sound like he was in some sort of Stockholm prison trying to get through it, even though he was on the monitor calling it back here. That was not a great third period. There's not like a big push from the Predators to come back.
Oh, what? The TV guys didn't go?
I don't think the radio guys went. Brand just had a baby, and I think he stayed
Brand
back.
And Colby caught it from here.
I think Brand and Colby.
I know Borky and Getzoff went.
Yeah, they went. Yeah, exactly.
Either that or it was very, very, very good, backdrop. What they call it, CGI. Hey, everybody, look, we're in Sweden. But yeah, Morozov is going to go back because that's the plan. And also, if they sent Jari down, or even Schilloff, so I think Schilloff has been a better of the two. And Jari ain't been bad, actually. But I just don't trust Jari. But I think there would be too many veteran contracts, too much money in Wilkes. There's a limit on that. Then again, what if Graves stays? And he's played good enough to stay. Him under a simpler, more defensive system with Muse is much better than being asked to pinch and activate all the time under Sullivan. Remember when Carlson a week or so back said that Sully was asking players to do things they couldn't? He wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about a guy like Graves who was asked to activate and pinch all the time.
All right, Chris, let's go back up to the top here. This comes from Mike, who says, I have more confidence in Mason Rudolph than Aaron Rodgers. And then right after him, another guy says, all Mason did was dump pass to the running back and to the tight end.
Yeah, what do you think Rodgers is doing?
I was just going to say, that's actually a little bit more of an indictment of Rodgers than Rudolph because the offense didn't change all that much.
If you look at the stats, they're almost identical, Tim. Rodgers and Rudolph. They were doing.
And by the
same
way,
thing.
we wouldn't be saying that. We wouldn't be making that complaint if DK didn't get called for the OPI and the completed pass. That was a good throw from Rudolph, and that was, down the field.
A lot of people just don't like Mason. I don't know why. Maybe because he looked like a dweeb when they cut his face mask off. Maybe because he looked like he got manhandled when Garrett swung the helmet at him. Tomlin's never shown proper respect for him. But Mason Rudolph has been a good backup. The Steelers would be better off right now if the minute Ben retired, they would have anointed Rudolph the starter, and he started from then till now. No doubt about that in my mind. That said, given that Tomlin doesn't respect Rudolph, and given that Tomlin once started Duck Hodges when Rudolph was available, it wouldn't totally shock me if Rudolph struggled and Howard did indeed get a shot, which would be absolute stupidity on Mike Tomlin's part, but nothing less than I might expect.
The other guy added, the Steelers are 9-8 at best. They still suck. And he said the refs had money on the Steelers yesterday. I don't know how you can say the refs had money on the Steelers yesterday when they got hit with that personal foul of sacking Flacco from Watt. They had the 2 OPIs against Metcalf. They had that terrible spot that went the way of the Bengals. There was a lot that went in the Bengals' favor from the officiating crew. I don't see the logic in that last statement.
Yeah, but yes, refs. I mean, I think the NFL in general is over-refereed. But I can't say it's been prejudicial in any Steelers game this year toward one team or the other. I think the notion of prejudicial officiating is ridiculous. I just don't think it happens.
Calvin says hopefully they don't micromanage Rudolph, but I know they will. Need to get away from the game manager mentality at quarterback. tired of no deep balls and no risk.
Yeah, who they going to throw deep to? A triple cover DK Metcalf?
Certainly looks like Calvin Austin hasn't come back from his injury the way that they wanted. And then your next best option for a deep shot is Roman Wilson. I can't believe they didn't use Freiermuth more than they did yesterday. Like, there was one sequence where he and Jonnu never got off the bench in the second quarter. Never got off the bench, and they went 3 and out as a result.
I have no faith in the coaching staff. None of them. Not Tomlin, not Smith. Certainly not Danny Smith, although he wasn't on camera much yesterday. What happened?
Was there a big special teams play of consequence yesterday? I don't think that there was. Was there?
No, but he's always snorting and spitting and gesturing. I mean, just get him on there.
Eric says Steelers never win in Chicago, and I don't see them breaking that precedent this weekend. It's a good offensive-minded coach against Tomlin. This has first time we saw Shane Steichen vibes to it. The Bears offensively right now are, if I remember right, something like second in the league in rushing, fourth in total offense. And it's not like they got star stud running backs. They got DeAndre Swift. He's good. They got Williams, who we'll see what he turns out to be. But there is a system there that the Steelers better be ready for if they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I think it's one of those crapshoot games. I think the Steelers and Bears are roughly in the same class. Like, probably 80% of the league is it could go either way. I don't believe that them having not won in Chicago since, 1936, I don't think that has any bearing. But Caleb Williams, I mean, he's inconsistent, as you might expect from a second-year quarterback, but he's a talent. I think he might be a tough nut to crack.
One comment comes in and says, what do you think about the next 3 games for the Steelers where it's Bears, Bills, Ravens? Yeah, you got division leader, wild card team, and then the Ravens. He said 1-2 at best. Yeah, probably. I don't think they go 2-1 through that. They never win in Chicago. Buffalo's better, and the first of the 2 games against Baltimore is in Baltimore. I don't like that formula.
If you don't win at Baltimore, you're not winning the division. It is a day that will live in infamy.
This one comes from somebody else. Just get to one more. I'm an old school Steelers fan from the 70s, and they're still not winning a playoff game. They'll probably lose the next 4 out of 6 games. So, listen, if they win right now, if they win the division right now, the way things are stacking up, you're going to get the AFC second place team. That means either New England again, you needed 5 turnovers to beat them the first time, or you get Buffalo coming here. I don't know if I'll pick New England in that game, but I'm sure as hell picking Buffalo.
How about Josh Allen with 3 rushing touchdowns and 3 passing touchdowns? Only the second time it's been done, and he did it the first time.
All right, normally here on Madden Benz Unfiltered, Chris likes to bring up the graphic for Madden's Music Corner. Today, it's Mark's Movie Minute. Mark, the running man, a review.
Well, first off, congrats to the Riverhounds. They're in the USL Championship game.
Oh, you know what? I did see a couple questions in here about them. They won?
Yeah, on Saturday at Tulsa, noon on CBS Sports, so that's a big game. I think I'm doing a viewing party at Shiloh up on Mount Washington. I'll keep people posted.
I like that place. That's a good spot.
Yeah, and if I do, Tim, I might get there early. They open at 10 on Saturdays. Liverpool, Nottingham Forest.
Oh, there you go. How did Liverpool do against Chelsea?
We were off this weekend, Tim. Mercifully.
Oh, is that the women's? Is that the women's?
Yeah, international break.
Oh, okay. All right.
But running man was real good. Glenn Powell is, the Schwarzenegger character, but he's better, much better. He's this really angry guy. It's not just all one-liners. It's not like Schwarzenegger was like laughing in the face of certain death, whereas Glenn Powell treats it like it's certain death. It was much more faithful to the Stephen King novel of the same name. Josh Brolin was a delightful, smarmy TV executive heel. It had over-the-top action and blood, but I didn't have a problem with that in context of this dystopian America that we get closer to every day without knowing. So, yeah, it was really good. And I also, Tim, how about this for a double feature on the weekend? I had seen this movie on a flight to Liverpool, on the movie, the select thing, the movie.
Yeah, the little movie screen in front of you, yeah.
But I saw it again on I think it's FX, the remake of Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that one yet. How was it?
It's really good. Really good. He plays Dalton totally different, and the storyline's different enough. I mean, it's the same thing, like, oppressive, local money baron tries to take down small business and is defended by maniac bouncer. In this case, a former UFC fighter. That's who Dalton is in this one, Gyllenhaal, but it's really good.
Do you think the Steelers will go to Gibson's the night before the game?
Oh, they got to.
That's the tradition, right?
They got to. It's not only for the steak, Tim. It's the best steak in the world, but also to see like that area, of Chicago.
Yeah,
it's like intersection of streets like Rush Street, and it comes to a triangle, right? And it's where all the rich old guys bring their real young girlfriends. They call it the Viagra Triangle.
Mark and I will be back next Monday. The podcast is up now. You can listen to it at Trib Live. It's posted there. It's on the Fans First Network. And we are brought to you by Mike's Beer Bar on the North Shore. Meet me at Mike's.